Daniel Phillips, he had an orgy with Diddy and Cassie, and they called it a sexathon?
Yes, Diddy and Cassie themselves referred it to a sexathon, but they called me. Daniel Phillip was already there. Cassie actually calls me and she's like, yo, do you mind watching me with another guy? And I did, because I had never been involved with her and someone else. I kind of really thought it was a monogamous situation. Diddy was not well endowed and she just needed somebody to fill her and satisfy her. So I really believed at this time that was my role, that I was only being called in because this rich and powerful guy could not satisfy his woman. It wasn't until I got in this freak off that I saw her like in front of Daniel Phillip and Diddy with two penises in her face that I was realizing like, wow, this chick is not what you think. It was actually a little hurtful, I'll be honest.
And you got an STD by Cassie, right?
Well, I found out first because I actually got an STD test because I started feeling weird after an encounter. Not going to ask you if you know how that feels. I pray to God you've never had that experience. I've only had it one time in my life with Cassie, and the feeling of catching an STD is not a comfortable feeling. The first thing you notice is the difficulty in urination. And that's the first thing I noticed, like, yo, what the hell is wrong with me? I thought I had like water in my penis, because that happens sometimes as a man. When you take a shower, you might get a little water in there and it's discomfort when you pee. But the next day it was worse. So immediately I go to the doctor to find out. I come up positive for chlamydia. Thank God my girlfriend was out of town at the time, so she didn't know. So I'm trying to just hurry up and get the disease over with before my chick come back, want some beef, and then I got to take care of her and possibly infect her. In any event, she didn't come back. My girlfriend didn't come back. I think it was for like 8 days because she was on a business trip. So she comes back, whatever. We do get engaged. We do have sexual intercourse when she comes back. I want to say Cassie didn't call me for like a month, but during that month, my girlfriend went to the doctor, got completely tested out. She had clean test results. So I knew after my girl went to the doctor and didn't come home and curse me out saying, you gave me something, I was good. All right, bet. I go see Cassie maybe a month later. And the first thing I did was pull out a condom, because I'm like, yo, if my girl didn't give me this, Cassie gave me this, but I can't directly accuse her because I don't know. So I didn't say anything. I just decided to wear a condom. Now, Diddy sees this condom and he says, yo, bro, what's that for? And I said, oh, we got to be careful. We've been doing this too long. I got a girlfriend. I got to be mindful of that. I don't ever want to bring nothing home to my girlfriend. I loved my girlfriend hard. Just because I slept with Cassie all this time, the woman I was with at this time, I loved my girlfriend. That's how I know I didn't love Cassie. I know I loved my girlfriend because I would sleep with Cassie and think about my ex-girlfriend. So Cassie actually comes out and Cassie says, no, babe, remember the chlamydia? I said, what did you say? She says, oh, yeah, I had a chlamydia scare because Sean cheated on me. She blamed it on Diddy, said Diddy cheated on her and told me I should go to the doctor. Yo, bruh, I was pissed. Oh, I was so pissed. I was pissed. I was disgusted. And I just remember looking at her like, this is how you tell me? I think you should have reached out to me by phone when you found out and say, yo, Dave, go to the doctor. Like this came up. Sean cheated on me. I think I have chlamydia. I don't want you to be affected by this. Go to the doctor. I'm so sorry. You didn't even have enough regard for me as a human being to call me and tell me you think your man gave you chlamydia. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up leaving that encounter actually. And I don't think I saw them for maybe 6 months because I was pissed off. But honestly, Art, economic conditions play a part. They hit me again with the flim flam. They called me up because I wouldn't come. They offered me like 30 bands to go to Florida to freak off with Cassie. I ain't making 30 bands to freak off with no woman. So even though, it's been times where they haven't paid me, the simple possibility that I might get this 30 bands is enticing enough for me to get on the plane and go to Florida. So I go back down there and I have sex with her again. But I use condoms for every other time I had sex with her after that point.
She told you personally that she was pregnant by you, right?
Well, it was, I believe it was, we were just, I don't think she intended to get pregnant. No woman who accidentally gets pregnant intends to get pregnant. We just went a little bit too far. This one encounter in New York in the Gramercy Park Hotel, which is crazy. I can even remember where I got her pregnant at. At the time I was on parole. So I was checking in the parole like every week or every 2 weeks, remember, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still out in the street. I'm getting money from them. So, my lifestyle didn't actually fit my income, if you understand what I'm saying. Um, it really didn't. So, I remember like specifically, I go to, I go to see Cassie and we have this crazy encounter. Like we probably had sex like 2.5, 3 days. Ecstasy, Molly. This was still pretty early in the relationship. I want to say it was like 2012, 2013. We have this amazing encounter, great time. I leave her. Now, when I leave her, I remember literally I'm going to Harlem because I worked as a contractor. I'm still an independent construction contractor, but I had an office in Manhattan in Harlem. So when I left Cassie after this freak off, I drive to my office. It's 7 o'clock. I got to go to work. There was a tail light out on my pickup truck and I got pulled over by the damn NYPD. They arrest me for a broken tail light. Ultimately, I get violated by parole for being out before parole told me I could go out, and I get detained for a violation. Now, on this violation, I find out Cassie's pregnant. Thinking about it a little bit, I realized, wait a minute, you had sex with her. She's 2 months pregnant. This is probably your baby. So I think I did a violation for maybe 6 months, 7 months. I had to do like this military program. It was so bogus and BS. But as soon as I came home, the first thing I did was look for Cassie. I had several phone numbers for her. I called them all. It might have took her 3 or 4 days. She calls me back. She's overseas. She's like, yo, where have you been? I said, yo, I got violated by parole. I was locked up. She says, oh my God, I was looking for you. You don't know how bad I was looking for you. We actually had a really good conversation the first time we reconnected after this violation, being separated for 7 to 8 months. So she tells me she's out of the States and she's like, yo, you know what? I'll be there in a week because I need to talk to you. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't really think she's going to be there in a week. Yo, bro, clockwork. A week later, she texts me. She's in Manhattan. She's in the Gramercy Park Hotel. Can I meet her at 7 o'clock that night? Okay. I get to the Gramercy Park that evening. I remember I walk into the suite. Diddy actually let me in, which was weird because at that time, Diddy never let me in the beginning. But this time I went there, Diddy let me into the suite. He daps me up. Yo, bro, what's up, man? Been a long time. You look good. You look healthy. Yo, where you been? So as I'm telling him, he gives me this look and he's like, yo, bro, she was looking for you. So I said, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, bro, she was looking for you, bro. Y'all need to talk. So I'm like, all right. Cassie comes out the room soon as he says that, looking like Cassie, looking beautiful. Me and her reconnect. We hug each other. She sits me on the couch in the living room and she tells me she was pregnant. So I said, well, like, how do you know it was mine? Typical women. I know it was you. You were the only guy around that time. It wasn't Sean. I know it was you. She tells me all of this to my face. She cries. She tells me she doesn't believe in abortion, but she only had the abortion because she didn't know who I was and how to find me. And I believed her from the emotional response she gave me, the crying, the look of regret that she did it. I actually believed her. You know what I'm saying? So I sat there myself, and I'll be honest, I was a little teary-eyed myself because no one really likes to see beautiful women cry. And she's crying about something that affected both of us. I kind of felt something towards it. So I'm like, damn, all right, it's like a sad situation. But the craziest part, bro, is I'm thinking I impregnated her and she had an abortion.
And if I'm not mistaken, Cassie, she's the one that gave you Molly for the first time, and Diddy, he's the one that gave you the pink cocaine, right?
Yeah. Cassie kind of drugged me like I told you about earlier. Cassie actually did drug me, but Diddy's drugging me was with that Tunchi stuff. I believe it was Tunchi now because of what it did to me. And the funny part is that I was talking to one of the male providers today, and he actually told me when he heard me talking about how Diddy drugged me, he remembers how Diddy drugged him. Diddy did this to a lot of people. Like the real Rico was the male prostitutes. It wasn't Jane and Cassie. It was the male prostitutes who Cassie, Jane, and Diddy manipulated into these situations. Cause we all have the same story. I'm pretty sure you can agree because you've interviewed 2 or 3 of us by now. We pretty much all got the same story. Diddy gave me the Molly, basically telling me that if I didn't take it, Cassie would get mad. So now I only took a little bit of it because, again, I'm not a big drug person and I really just wanted to satisfy him and get him out of my face. So I said, all right, give me a little piece. It's Diddy. He's a billionaire. I've known him 5 or 6 years by now. He's never tried to hurt me. We had that one encounter where he asked me about the homosexual thing, but he paid me $5,000 and never did it again. So I really had no reason not to trust him. I take this substance, bro. I don't even think it took 30 minutes. This thing rocked me, bro. Yo, it rocked me. I remember I was hot. I was sweating. I was throwing up. I couldn't walk. I crawled across a 5-star hotel room to the bathroom to throw up in the toilet. I was so weak. This might have went on maybe 30 minutes, bro. I just threw up everything I had inside of me. Even water, liquid, everything came out. I finally get up. I managed to regain my strength. I go back in the living room. I'm sweating profusely, bro. Diddy comes out. First thing he notices, what's wrong with you? I say, yo, whatever you gave me, bro, not good. It's me up. I need to go. Cassie comes out. She sees me. She says, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I said, yo, I need to get out of here. Whatever he just gave me, it got me twisted. She says, yo, what did you give him? He said, I gave him the pink stuff. I gave him some Molly. And she looked at him and just did this. And I said, yo, he said he gave me Molly. I never had nothing like this. She said, it's because it's not Molly. And I was like, what? But I'm so high, I can't really do anything about it. Because, bro, I was out of it. I could barely grasp my reality at this point. So they tell me, be careful. Diddy gives me like $1,500, which is the lowest amount he ever paid me. He gave me $1,500 after he drugged me with a substance that completely tore me from limb to limb. They tell me to be careful. They direct me to sneak out of the Trump International in Central Park West through the back staircase, which I did. Bro, I'm completely out of it, bro. I can barely stand. I'm sweating. It's December, bro. I got a coat on. I'm pouring sweat in the middle of Manhattan. Not a good look for a black man, bro. Not. I can't catch a cab. The cab drivers are seeing me. They riding by me. I'm nervous as hell. I can't figure it out. So I start walking down. I believe it was Broadway I tried to get to. I start walking towards Broadway, bro, just to get out the area. By the time I realized where I was in Union Square. Yeah, messed up, bro, sweating. I was so out of it at this point getting to Union Square. I found like a little alcove on a side street. And I don't know if you've ever been in New York and you see like the homeless people sleeping in the side street in like a little alcove or like a department store, like a Macy's exit door or something. That was Dave curled up in the corner of like a Macy's exit door. It might have been Old Navy I was at, actually, in the corner like a homeless man, sweating, not being able to figure out what the hell I'm doing. I call my bro. I say, yo, bro, I'm messed up. I need you to come get me in the city. I share my location with him.